You walk into a room 5 minutes late. Every head turns. Everyone is looking at you. There's a coffee stain on your sleeve. Your hair is a mess, and sweat is dripping down your forehead. Everyone saw everything. Everyone is judging you. At least, that's what it feels like. But here's what actually happened. Maybe two people glanced up. One looked at the door because they were expecting someone else. The other looked right back down at their phone before you even sat down. Nobody noticed the coffee stain. Nobody saw the sweat. Nobody cared. And the ones who did notice forgot about it before you even found your seat. Psychologists have a name for this, the spotlight effect. And once you understand it, you'll finally stop living like the whole world is your audience. Back in 2000, psychologist Thomas Gilovich ran a landmark study at Cornell University that changed how we look at self-consciousness. The experiment was brilliantly simple. College students were asked to put on a T-shirt featuring a massive, loud photograph of Barry Manilow. At the time, wearing that shirt was the social equivalent of walking into a room wearing a sign that says, "Please judge me." The student walked into a room full of peers, sat down briefly, and was then pulled back out. When asked, "How many people do you think noticed your shirt?" the students guessed 50%. Half the room, they assumed, had seen Barry Manilow staring right at them. The reality? Fewer than 25% of the room noticed the shirt. Some didn't even remember anyone walking in at all. The students thought they were twice as visible as they actually were. Gilovich tested this over and over, with flattering shirts featuring Bob Marley and Martin Luther King Jr., and during group discussions. Whether the attention was embarrassing or flattering, the results stayed identical. We believe we're being noticed far more than we actually are. So, why does your brain play this trick on you? It comes down to a cognitive bias called anchoring. You experience the world from one perspective, yours. You feel your own nervousness. You see your own blemishes in the mirror. You hear your voice crack mid-sentence. When you try to guess what others notice, you start from your own vivid experience and try to adjust. But the adjustment is never enough. You are anchored to the intensity of your own self-awareness. Think about the last time you were in an elevator with a stranger. Do you remember what they were wearing? The color of their shoes? Probably not. You were thinking about your own day, your own lunch, your own emails. Meanwhile, that stranger might have spent 10 minutes stressing over their outfit. You didn't notice any of it because you're the star of your own movie, and to everyone else, you're just background scenery. The roots of this go much deeper than modern psychology. For most of human history, humans lived in tight-knit tribes of 50 to 150 people. In that world, your reputation wasn't just important. It was a survival tool. If the tribe saw you as weak or strange, you could be cast out away from the fire, away from safety. Standing out meant danger. Your brain evolved in that exact environment. It learned to assume the worst because being wrong about whether someone was watching you could get you killed. But you don't live in a tribe of 150 anymore. You live in a world of 8 billion people. You pass more strangers in a single week than your ancestors met in a lifetime. Your brain is simply running ancient software, still convinced that every pair of eyes is a threat. This connects directly to another phenomenon, the illusion of transparency. This is the false belief that your internal emotions are completely visible on your face. You think when you're nervous in a job interview, the interviewer can see your fear. When you hide sadness at a party, you assume everyone knows. Researchers tested this by having people give stressful speeches while nervous. The speakers consistently rated their anxiety as glaringly obvious. The audience? They barely registered it at all. The anxiety pulsing through your chest is invisible to everyone but you. The embarrassment making your ears burn doesn't show on your face the way you think it does. Here is the best part. In a follow-up study, researchers told one group of speakers about the illusion of transparency before they went on stage. Just knowing that the audience couldn't see their nervousness didn't just make them feel calmer. They actually performed better. The audience rated them as more confident, composed, and compelling. Think about what this means for your life right now. Every opportunity you avoided out of fear of failing. Every hand you didn't raise. Every room you walked in already overmanaging how you'd be perceived. All of that energy spent managing an audience that barely exists. The person you said something awkward to last Tuesday isn't thinking about it. They're too busy worrying about their own awkward moments. The spotlight isn't real. It never was. It's just your brain running old code in a world that moved on. And if the spotlight isn't real, neither is the stage. Which means you can finally stop performing. Go to that restaurant alone. Ask the stupid question, with a shirt you actually like. Because publicly failing comes with a much smaller audience than your brain tells you it does. The next time you feel every eye in the room locking onto you, remember this: they're not looking at you. They're too busy worrying about who's looking at them.